Welcome to this in-depth exploration of the journey of medical M.Sc postgraduates in the Indian medical education landscape. Today, we embark on a journey that sheds light on the challenges faced by these competent professionals. In the history of medical education in India, the Medical Council of India, formed under the Indian Medical Council Act of 1956, played a pivotal role. During those early years, a significant challenge emerged: a shortage of medical teachers in non-clinical subjects at medical colleges. The year was 1961 when the Health Survey and Planning Committee, under the guidance of Dr. Lakshmanaswamy Mudaliar, proposed a solution: the introduction of medical M.Sc courses for non-doctors with a background in science, specifically B.Sc in life sciences. These medical M.Sc courses were conducted by medical colleges with the same curriculum and syllabus as the M.D courses in subjects like anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, pharmacology, and microbiology. The three-year postgraduate course included a mandatory year of study in human anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry, irrespective of the specialization, enabling a strong foundation in understanding the human body in health and sickness. The students undergo rigorous training, including essential components like dissertations, journal clubs, seminars, case discussions, clinical correlation, and hospital postings. Medical M.Sc courses in these 5 subjects are conducted in parallel by the same teachers who also train M.D students, using a uniform syllabus, shared resources, and similar methodologies. The nature of internal assessment and university examinations is also similar. These degrees are generally awarded by health universities under the Faculty of Medicine. However, in the absence of a central regulatory authority, there are some differences across the universities in their conduct. Over 95 colleges across India have been running medical M.Sc courses since the 1960s, filling the gaps in medical education. In the past, medical colleges would request approval from the Medical Council of India, M.Sc, to initiate medical M.Sc courses, and the M.Sc would readily grant them permission. The medical M.Sc degree is one of the medical qualifications included in the first schedule of the Indian Medical Council Act, 1956. However, post-1980s, the Medical Council of India mysteriously stopped regulating medical M.Sc courses. Undeterred by the stoppage of regulation by the M.Sc, many medical colleges continued offering medical M.Sc courses, as the University Grants Commission, UGC, recognizes these courses. Over the years, these colleges have produced competent postgraduates with the knowledge and skills necessary for roles as teachers in medical or dental colleges, consultants in diagnostic laboratories, and researchers in research institutions. Utilizing M.Sc Ph.D qualified teachers for teaching non-clinical subjects is not unique to India. It is a standard practice globally. In the United States, 83 to 87% of basic medical sciences faculty in medical colleges are scientists with a Ph.D., while only 8 to 11% are doctors with or without a Ph.D. For instance, in the School of Medicine, University of Aberdeen in Scotland, all anatomy and biochemistry teaching staff are non-medical. As more medical colleges mushroomed and government permitted an increase in PG seats, many doctors pursued MD in non-clinical subjects. Simultaneously, medical colleges ran medical MSc and MD courses in the same departments, leading to a large number of postgraduates with similar qualifications. This led to unhealthy competition for teaching jobs. Non-MBBS teachers with M.Sc Ph.D qualifications, also labeled as non-medical teachers, began to be targeted. To eliminate competition, some in the medical fraternity resorted to malicious propaganda, falsely portraying non-medical teachers as inefficient and responsible for poor quality medical education. A variety of methods were employed to influence the Health Ministry, M.Sc, NMC and the medical colleges, pressurizing them to exclude non-medical candidates from the system. It was alleged that, due to the curriculum shifting towards competency-based medical education with early clinical exposure, and vertical and horizontal integrations, only medically qualified teachers could teach. It is important to remember that vertical and horizontal integration in competency-based medical education is not a new concept. It is already being implemented in medical colleges around the world that have employed non-medical teachers. In fact, integration only makes up about 20% of the syllabus. It is important to not overstate the role of non-clinical disciplines in integration. Integration also occurs in clinical subjects, where medical teachers teach students how to apply concepts from non-clinical disciplines to clinical practice. Although the foundation of medical knowledge is laid in basic medical sciences, students learn how to diagnose and treat patients in clinical subjects, which are taught exclusively by medical teachers. The allegations that the standards of medical education would be lowered after the implementation of CBME due to the presence of 1 or 2 non-MBBS teachers in each department are misconceived and unfounded, as evidenced by students clearing competencies and passing exams for the past 3 years. 1 or 2 non-medical teachers in a department cannot be held responsible for the poor quality of education, while the remaining majority of medical teachers absolve themselves of any responsibility. The National Medical Commission, NMC, initially allowed non-medical teachers to constitute up to 50% of the faculty in the Department of Biochemistry, 30% in Anatomy and Physiology, and 30% in Pharmacology and Microbiology as per the existing norms of the erstwhile M.Sc. However, the NMC bowed to pressure from the doctors' community, took a U-turn, and reduced the permissible percentages of non-medical teachers to 15% in biochemistry and anatomy and physiology, while completely stopped their appointment in pharmacology and microbiology. This arbitrary guidelines led to many non-medical teachers being sacked after years of service, and routine renewal of contracts were denied to many others. Many were rendered ineligible to apply for the vacant teaching posts. Faculties in microbiology and pharmacology could not relocate to other colleges or apply for new jobs. Many were affected as jobs were being denied, citing the new rules. Although the rules were meant to be applied only to new colleges established in the academic year 2021-22 onward, they were wrongly being applied in older colleges to those who were already in service. Naturally, it evoked protests among the non-medical teachers community. Despite their qualifications, these dedicated non-medical teachers faced discrimination and exclusion in career advancement. Today, medical M.Sc postgraduates are facing an uncertain future, with limited opportunities both inside and outside the medical field. Medical M.Sc courses are designed along the lines of M.D. courses, making their education suitable for similar roles except for clinical practice. However, there are limited employment avenues beyond medical education and healthcare. It is important to bear in mind that the primary purpose of creating this course was to produce teachers specializing in non-clinical fields. The National Medical Teachers Association, NMMTA, a national registered association, which represents medical M.Sc and Ph.D. teachers, was taken aback by the unexpected reversal of the NMC's stand on the permissible percentages of non-medical teachers in medical colleges. As per the rules, the association filed an appeal with the NMC, which was expectedly rejected. Meanwhile, medical M.Sc and Ph.D. members, along with the NMMTA and those impacted by the new norms, sought relief from the Delhi High Court against the NMC's arbitrary rules. Notwithstanding the judicial delays and in accordance with the provisions of the NMC Act, the NMMTA filed a second appeal with the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The ministry conducted its own internal research, obtained data on actual faculty vacancies and the number of MD seats being filled in non-clinical subjects, and concluded that the NMC should revert to the old norms of the Medical Council of India on the appointment of medical M.Sc and Ph.D. teachers, subject to the outcome of the case pending in the Delhi High Court. The petition, which was filed in 2020, is still pending in the Delhi High Court despite being listed for hearing 27 times. The delays are causing enormous suffering and hardships to many medical M.Sc and Ph.D. teachers who lost their jobs due to the NMC's arbitrary decision. Even though the government issued the order over a month ago, the NMC has not yet notified the amendments in the regulations for minimum requirements for annual MBBS admission and teachers' eligibility and qualifications in medical institutions. Under the NMC Act, the central government's decision on whether a question is a matter of policy or not is final. In accordance with the Union Ministry, the NMC has submitted an affidavit to the court stating that it will follow the ministry's advice but has dragged its feet when it comes to the implementation of the government order. The Association of Non-Clinical Doctors, seeing their plans falling apart, have recently started protests against the ministry's advice and advocating for the exclusion of non-medical teachers. They have spread false narratives that only they are competent to impart teaching, and have even resorted to unethical means such as dragging medical students into protests and pitting them against non-medical teachers. It is pertinent to note here that despite an increase in the number of postgraduate seats in non-clinical disciplines, 40 to 50% of them remain vacant each year. This is because MBBS graduates prefer to pursue postgraduate studies in clinical disciplines. This indicates that the shortage of medical faculties in these disciplines will continue for a very long time. The shortage of teachers in medical colleges located in rural and remote locations, as well as in newly opened colleges, is even more acute. Some institutions are resorting to unethical means to deceive the NMC into granting them recognition. The right of colleges to appoint non-medical teachers in situations where medical teachers are unavailable must not be taken away, as this would deprive students of the opportunity to receive a proper education. Let's delve deeper into the impact of excluding non-medical teachers from the system. In some medical colleges, there is a severe shortage of medical teachers in non-clinical departments. This is either due to a lack of qualified teachers or to the presence of ghost faculties who exist only on paper or visit the colleges only during inspections. As a result, students admitted to these colleges suffer from a lack of access to quality education. This shortage of teachers also impacts the paramedical courses and diagnostic services offered by these institutions. Without the necessary manpower, these activities cannot be carried out effectively. Candidates with medical M.Sc. Ph.D. degrees can certainly help to compensate for these deficiencies. They have the necessary knowledge and skills to teach in non-clinical departments, and they can also help to improve the quality of paramedical courses and diagnostic services. The National Medical Teachers Association (NMMTA) does not seek a reservation for non-medical teachers. Instead, it advocates for the appointment of medical M.Sc. Ph.D. teachers as per the old MCI norms in situations where medical teachers are unavailable. Job selection should not be based solely on the nomenclature of the degree. When both medical M.Sc. Ph.D. and MBBS MD are qualified for similar roles, the best candidate should be selected based on test or interview without any favor or prejudice. Merely having a certain qualification does not guarantee that someone will be successful in a role. Medical education must be allowed to benefit from the best of both qualifications. The Board of Governors superseding M.Sc had stated in January 2020 that a complete phasing out of faculty with M.Sc Ph.D. from the teaching faculty in the pre-medical basic sciences would create a closed system. It would preclude intellectual cross-fertilization, which generates dynamism in teaching and research, that not only advances the growth of the subject but intellectually stimulates the mind of the student, who would then be able to think in innovative ways as to how to understand medicine. The protests against the inclusion of non-medical teachers in medical colleges are not justified. The coordinated efforts of multiple organizations to exert pressure on the National Medical Commission and the government through misinformation and unethical means must be discontinued. Such an approach will create rifts, divisions, and mistrust between the two categories of teachers, which will ultimately harm the productivity of the department and hinder the quality of teaching. Medical education faces numerous shortcomings, such as lack of manpower and resources, corrupt and unethical practices, inadequate standards and processes, and more. Instead of targeting non-medical teachers based on misconceptions or political ideologies, doctors and their associations should focus on addressing these real issues. Instead of irrationally criticizing non-medical teachers, the medical teachers community should press for an increase in the teacher-to-student ratio as more teachers are needed to conduct effective small group teaching and to teach allied courses. Also, as this nation needs more doctors to cater to direct patient care, more PG seats should be made available in clinical specialties. Policymakers must see these protests as a political movement driven by a sense of pride and prejudice, with the aim of eliminating competition and establishing a monopoly. Policy decisions must be free from the influences of pride and prejudice. Let us stand united in support of an inclusive and thriving medical education ecosystem, where the talents of both medical and non-medical professionals are celebrated and nurtured. The role of a teacher isn't solely defined by academic degrees, rather, it's a talent, an art that improves with experience.
The medical M.Sc. Ph.D. teachers are being denied an opportunity to even prove their worth in many medical institutions. They are being denied examinership and guideship for research. Even though they are eligible as per NMMTA norms and guidelines of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, they are even not being called for interviews during recruitments. These M.Sc. Ph.D. teachers have been a part of the medical education system for more than 70 years. I, as the president of the National M.Sc. Medical Teachers Association (NMMTA), appeal to the medical fraternity for peaceful coexistence. There is no need for these protests and instigation of these young minds of these medical students. There are issues in medical education, and believe me, we are part of the solution. We will contribute wholeheartedly and support in making our medical education reach global standard.
Our appeal to the entire medical ecosystem of India is very clear. MD, MS and M.Sc. PhDs. We have been teaching the MBBS students together since last half of the century. And we can peacefully coexist in the future too. We are not here for any kind of reservation. This 30% is not it's not a reservation. This is just an opportunity to appear in an interview equally. And if we are as bad as you say, then you will be selected in an interview ahead of us anyways. So why blaming us, brandishing us as the reason of low status of medical education? We have faced a lot of discrimination throughout the years. Still, we have worked hard to achieve whatever we have. CVME is not unique for India. It is practiced extensively in other Western countries, and there for pre and paraclinical departments, M.Sc. PhDs are teaching. So if we can work there, why not in India, in our own country? Please, we again call for coexistence. We are not here to fight. Let us live with dignity. Jai Hind.